What's up, squad? Am I in the right chat? Oh my god. I don't know what's going on tonight. It is midnight. It's 12:06. This is a special request. What's up, Diva Law? Hey, Marilyn. Black Mirror Mirror. I thought I was going to have to do this by myself. I thought I was going to have to do this by myself tonight. What's going on? What's up, Noir King? I'm like, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Where the squad at tonight, honey? I caught you before bed, North Cab. Cool beans. Yay. So, y'all know I said I was going to try to be a little bit more consistent on Sunday nights, especially since I be like live tweeting the Housewives. I be doing my blogs for the next day. I be like throwing shade online and doing all that jazz. You know, the stuff us bloggers do. So tonight was episode 3. Was it episode 3 or 4? I'm so like all over the place. It was episode 3 of the Housewives of Atlanta, which was like called New Edition. What are you doing, dog? So New Edition basically was an introduction to Shamari. Okay, well, let's say Eva and Shamari, because Eva got a little scene, Shamari got a little scene. And yeah, the new additions, the new additions, a little play on words because new edition, which is Shamari's husband, Ronnie DeVoe, also made his little on-screen debut tonight. So it was an interesting dynamic. I know y'all was like, oh, it's just so boring this year. Season 11 is so boring because of all of the love and light and everybody's getting along, but clearly everybody is not getting along. First we got to deal with Kandi. Y'all know Kandi can hold a grudge. Just ask the Scott sisters from Xscape. Kandi hold grudges for 20, 25 years. And clearly, even though she said she was over this grudge between she and Porsha, she is not over this grudge. Kandi is really in her feelings. She's doing little sneaky stuff. She's telling people, she knows secrets about Porsha's new boyfriend, but she's not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna stay out of it. But with Kandi staying out of it, what did she do? She pulled a candy coated click into it so that they can do her dirty work. I'm like, girl. So here come Carmen. Carmen got a whole new job. Carmen selling insurance. She ain't got nothing to do with none of this. She done called Carmen. She telling Karma Porsha business. And in addition to Carmen, she done went and dug up Porsha's old assistant. Now, for those of you who are fans of the show, you may recall Porsha's assistant. I don't even know the girl's name. What's her name? Jamie. That's right, Jamie. You may recall Jamie from the Christmas party where Porsha allegedly chased Jamie out the Christmas party and beat her up in the back alley. This was before the whole anger management. This was before Porsha made amends and, got saved and all of that jazz. So, now Kandi then went and found Jamie and now got Jamie working for her for whatever reason and spilling tea to Jamie. Now, you already know Jamie got a vendetta because Porsha probably socked her in the eye and did whatever she did off camera. And then you got Kandi spilling this tea and I'm looking at this like deja vu all over again. Now, do y'all remember how pissed off Kandi was when Phaedra went behind her back and got her old assistant Johnny? And, was like, I'll take you to a lawyer. I'll help you sue Kandi. I'll take you to a good lawyer so you can get all your back pay. And Kandi was in her feelings about that whole situation. Now, why wouldn't Kandi why wouldn't Porsha feel some kind of way now? Like, it's just really interesting. So, to piggyback off that, y'all may have watched What Happens Live. And Porsha made a little comment about that too and said the same thing. It's kind of like what Phaedra did to her. Like, how was she like if I went and got Phaedra? Really? Southern Lady said Porsha need to bring Phaedra back. I agree. Porsha, NeNe, somebody that would really make Kandi feel some kind of way. Cause peep game, y'all know it hasn't aired yet, but Kandi kind of slipped one in on NeNe too when she went and got Kenya. You know that whole little situation. So Kandi is really pulling one this season, and people like I was tweeting about it and stuff, and people were like, "You must really feel some kind of way about Kandi." No, I don't. I just call it. Look, I call it like I see it, and I'm sitting here going, "Damn." No wonder Kandi is on this whole bring back Kenya campaign because Kandi has the role of the antagonist this season. Kandi is what Kenya was supposed to be. What Kenya would have been had she kept her peach. And now Kandi don't have no way out. Like she's really doing all the dirty stuff. Now let me get off Kandi for a second and let's talk about Eva the Diva. Now, Eva has been throwing shade at Cynthia for the past 2 to 3 episodes. Like when she first was doing that family photo shoot, you remember she was like saying, I'm a model now. Cynthia been doing it for 20 years and she could teach me some things. She keep throwing this ageism up about Cynthia. And I don't know if she realizes she's saying it, but she keeps saying little stuff. Like she said something about models are supposed to be skinny. I don't know any model with a booty besides Cynthia. Like she done called her fat. She done called her old. Cynthia can teach her a few things because Cynthia been doing it forever. She just keeps bringing up, Cynthia. And I haven't heard Cynthia say a negative word about her. But in addition to that, Eva kind of struck a few nerves tonight with a cut. Like we got ageism out the way, right? So Eva has got struck a few nerves with some colorism tonight when they were at ATL Live on the park and they brought up Shamia's name. Now we know Shamia is a beautiful, dark-skinned Nubian princess. She's married to an African. She's pregnant. She's been a friend of the show forever. She was actually offered a peach. This is exclusive information that you got from straight from the A long time ago. She was actually offered a peach, but she turned it down because her husband to be at that time didn't want her to have a peach, would prefer for her to be a housewife, a real housewife. But, he was okay with her being a friend. So she was like, okay, I'll film whenever, but I don't want a peach. So Eva brings up and said that she doesn't like Shamia because if you recall, Shamia brought up the whole lesbian rumors about Eva last season or whatever. And she says Eva's black without the Q. She was like, yeah. And I'm like, what? Wait, can we rewind that 3-4 times? She's black without the Q. Are you talking about she's black as in dark skin? Are you talking about she's black as in African American? You can't be talking about she's black as in African American, but because you're sitting around a whole table full of African American women. So, Eva is really, feeling the brunt of that now because everybody's online was like, what's going on with that? So that's Eva. We can get Eva out the way. But if you recall, if y'all have been following Straight from the A, y'all know Straight from the A is a proud media sponsor of ATL Live on the Park. I have been for many years. ATL Live on the Park is a monthly music showcase which showcases new artists, independent artists, up and coming artists, and also, older artists, artists back in the day that are getting back out there. So this particular ATL Live on the Park featured Blaque and a few other artists, and the ladies of the Housewives came to be introduced to Shamari. You said old artists. Old artists. See, there y'all go with that ageism. There y'all go with that ageism again. So, anyway, Kandi thought it would be a bright idea to invite all the ladies out for a Blaque performance. Blaque was performing for the first time in years. Like, we ain't seen Blaque ever, like, in the past 10 years. I don't know. But, really? Really? Is that how you gonna do me while I'm live? Okay, anyway. So, they went to see Shamari perform. It was a pretty decent performance. If you, want to see the performance, it's actually on this channel a few months back or whatever. I think I filmed it in June. I filmed a little bit of it while I was in the audience. And, they all got to meet Shamari. NeNe seemed to be a little standoffish, as she often is. But everybody else seems to be a little bit, open about it. When Ronnie DeVoe... speaks to Kandi. The really crazy thing about this situation is at the beginning of the episode, Kandi was a BBD stan. She was a New Edition stan. She said she loved her some Ronnie DeVoe, some Bill DeVoe. She loved them so much she had them perform at her wedding. Now here we are. Now Ronnie is like, what you need to do is placement. Y'all need to practice a little bit. Y'all need to do some things. You need to invite me to a rehearsal because I got some ideas for your performance. Kandi felt some kind of way about that. She was like, you don't need to be helping me. You need to be helping your wife, which, my thing is, y'all on tour. Blaque ain't. Or y'all were on tour before they canceled it, but that's a whole, another point. So my thing is with New Edition, Kandi was like, y'all used to open up for me. And they're going to have Kandi holding them grudges again. Y'all used to. At the end of the day, New Edition, BBD, and even Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, RBRM, that it, the new group. All of them, no shade to Xscape, but all of them are still better artists. I'm not gonna say a better artist, but more people will flock to see them than they would Xscape. No shade to Xscape. I mean, I feel like Xscape is a great group, but yeah, people have been buying tickets to New Edition concerts now for the past year, 2, 3 years. Ever since the whole New Edition miniseries came out, everybody want to see a New Edition concert. So Xscape ain't got the same buzz as New Edition. I'm sorry, they just don't. So Kandi throwing that shade, that was like, I don't even know why she tried to do that. But I digress. But anyway, everybody's really excited to see Ronnie because they feel like Ronnie is trying to be the new Peter Thomas by coming in on that, just hitting them hard when he first walked in the door. But, it'll be interesting to see because I feel like Shamari and Ronnie, they got more to prove than probably anybody else because neither one of them have been on a reality show before. They both have had some kind of fame in the past. Ronnie still has a little semblance of fame, and they want to promote their new album. What is it? Mari and I, or Mari and me, or something to that effect. And they were trying to be like the Carters, from what I can see. Who knows? I don't know. But and then I'm saving NeNe and Gregg for last. Y'all know I love me some Gregg leaks. NeNe is one of my favorite housewives. But at the end of the day, like, it's very hard to watch them go through this. Both of them, because she's going through it and he's going through it as well. Y'all saw episode 1 where he admitted that he had a portion of his colon removed, the cancerous portion of his colon. He was now apparently in remission, but the doctor was like, there may be some other cancerous cells. We suggest chemo, but he didn't want to do chemo because y'all know what happens when people do chemo. All kind of things happen to their body. It's not a great feeling. So they were trying to decide if they were going to do chemo or if they were going to do some alternative measures. And it's seeming like, they decided to go the holistic approach where, they got implants and different, changed his diet and done other little things like that. But again, we'll see more of that pan out. I don't want to give too much of it away, but y'all saw, Gregg has been posting pictures lately with his, I want to say fuck cancer, but that ain't what he said, because that's my way of saying it. But with his, I'm a beat cancer hat on, he's looking a little, he's looking a bit better, even though he has lost a significant amount of weight. But, it looks like, he's slowly coming out of, the trouble spot. So, we're still praying for Gregg and NeNe. So you said those so tour was canceled. Okay, now moving on. The Watch What Happens Live. I don't know if y'all caught that. I caught a little bit of it. And I was being real shady because if you recall when Kandi was spilling the tea to Jamie and Carmen, they were all talking about how Dennis buys all his women watches. Dennis, what do you say? Dennis get all his women's names tattooed on him. Dennis makes other women prepare the food for his new women. And I'm like, what? Dennis is a pimp. Dennis buying Rolexes and having his other women cook for him and his other women. Then in the meantime, you see Porsha telling her mom, he bought me a Rolex. He's thinking about getting a tattoo and he has food prep. So, that was all funny. But on Watch What Happens Live, I was being real shady. So when Andy had tweeted out to ask the question of y'all need to send questions or whatever, I sent the question. And do you know he read my question on air? I'm sitting there like, oh, where is it? Hold on, I'm looking on my Instagrams. Hold on. I said, come here, dog. Stop it. I said, that was so funny. Now I can't find it because it's so many tweets. It's so many tweets. Hold on, Andy. Where'd he go? I don't know where it is, but whatever it is, I had sent the question and I asked if Porsha was going to, or if Dennis was going to remove all the other women's tattoos from his body. And so Andy asked the question. He was like, this question comes from ATLien. I'm like, how does Andy, who hangs around all these Atlanta people, not know how to pronounce ATLien? Porsha, NeNe, Cynthia, somebody need to tell him, teach him how to pronounce ATLien. Like, he be pretending like he like black music and rap music and stuff. Andy don't know no better. After all this time, do I need to send him a mug? But I'll put the clip. Y'all know I'll put the clip up. Y'all know I was about to clip. But since it was so late, I just really wanted to come through and talk to y'all and see what y'all's opinion of it was tonight. I would love to hear from you guys, of course. If you want to call in, we can talk, we can chat for a little while because I'm not going to stay on late. I got some writing to do. Hold on, where is the number? What is the number? Oh, there it is. Let me call in really quick. I'm sorry, I can't even see the comments. There you go. You said ATLien sounds like Andrew Coward. Right. I'm like, how you gonna pick my question and not know how to pronounce it? You said spell it right. It's spelled right. It's ATL, which is the airport code, and Lien. Like alien, the other half of alien. So it's ATLien. Gosh, how do y'all not know that? Ugh. But yeah, shout out to Andy for reading my shady question. Because I was really just joking. Y'all know I just be tweeting. I just be tweeting away. Hold on. Phone number 646-224-5980.
Please enter your PIN number.
The PIN number 840-3583. I'm calling in right now.
Thank you. Joining the conference now.
Hold on. We got a few people already on the line. Hold on. Caller 7850, you are on the line.
Hey, Michelle, it's Robert. How are you tonight?
Robert, look at you being first.
Yes, I was like, I'm up working on a project. So I was like, let me call in so I can refocus my attention on work. So let me just say this. So I am still committed to watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but my original assessment on day one is the same. I think that this show doesn't need Kenya. It just needs a better antagonist or villain, because Kandi clearly isn't it. And we saw it with the scene with Kandi, Jamie, and Carmen, right? It just felt like she wanted to be messy, but she didn't have the courage to do it, right? And that's not who Kandi is, right? And it's like, if you're not going to wear the crown, then you need to give it to somebody else. And also, it just makes you feel more compassion for Porsha, even though Porsha really has done Kandi wrong. Like, I never really thought about that when I was watching it. Like, damn, Kandi is such a hater. Like, what happened?
It makes her look like a hater.
Exactly. And like you said on your Twitter account tonight, I think it's going to catch up with her, because nobody likes that whole Kim Zolciak, like, throw a rock and hide your hand stuff. And Kandi seems to be doing that, and she's not doing it very effectively. Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, remember you and Josh did a YouTube live, and you said that they were testing 2 new women, and one of the women was married to a guy, and they would declass the show. I don't know if you were talking about Shamari and Ronnie, but
No.
I just feel like they don't belong.
I'll tell you who I was talking about now, and even though I like her, she's hood as hell. I like her a lot. Ivana Love, and she's actually gonna be on a few shows, but she didn't get a peach or a friend, but she's still, you'll see her in the mix this season. But yeah, and I've actually hung out with her, and she's a hoot, and she curse a lot, and she's funny as hell. But at the time, I had never met her, and I did feel that way. I still do, because she was on Bridezilla's, and she was just real hoodish. But
let me tell you this. That assessment, even though it wasn't for Shamari and the R&B legend, I feel like it fits them. Only because, did you see the scene? Well, you were obviously there because you posted about it, but the scene where they were at ATL on the park or whatever, and then she walks up. Why did it look like she was a fan going to meet the cast? I don't know if it was just bad editing, but she seemed so out of place, and then he walks in and just automatically starts taking shots at Kandi, and it's like, that couldn't have been how it went.
I don't think that's how it went. Being on the outside looking in, there was no way for them to even film those scenes with as many people that were there. So basically, it was kind of set up. You know what I'm saying? So all the ladies were still at the table as most of the people had left. Because, it's like the performances, then after that it's the red carpet and blah, 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 blah. So it was a lot going on. Because even if you look at my video that I posted, because I had went up and I was talking to, that's when Cynthia was like, you need to call me before you post something and all of that stuff. So all of that happened there. But, again, that scene where Ronnie and Shamari were talking, that was way after, the performance. So, Shamari looked like she had showered and, all of that. I don't even know if it was well after or well before, but whatever the case, the timeliness of it wasn't,
Well, yeah, you could tell because the lighting of the scene was different from the performance and then when they actually went up to the table. And then one last thing, I feel like Eva is going to regret getting a peach because she just doesn't seem to know how to govern her mouth or use discretion. Isn't Eva African-American? So what was the colorism shade about Shamia being black without the feud?
I think she's not thinking before she speaks. And you know what's funny? Kandi did an interview. I think it was the one with Jamie McCartney. I can't remember. But she did an interview recently where she said there's some new peaches that, have been putting their foot in their mouth lately. And, they don't think before they speak and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that's who she was talking about. At first, when I first heard her say it, I thought she was talking about Shamari. But I'm thinking she's talking about Eva because next week they're going to call Eva out for lying because I feel like they're going to call her out for throwing all that shade at Cynthia because they're going to be at Cynthia's house. And then Cynthia, she's going to say she didn't do it. And then, of course, they got it on tape.
Well, if you notice, all of the women, NeNe and Porsha are starting to call her out in the confessionals. Mm-hmm. And so I think that she's going to be, the target along with somebody else. And then the last thing I want to say is, did you pick up on any uncomfortable tension between Cynthia and NeNe when they were at NeNe's house? Or was it just like she didn't know what to say? Like when they were at the house and she was talking to Gregg, it just felt like there was some underlying thing that happened that had nothing to do with Gregg being sick. Did you pick up on that or not?
Mm-mm. I mean,
Go back and look at it.
I feel like there's been a lot of underlying tension between Cynthia and NeNe for a while now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, it's definitely showing on the screen. So when you do your write-up, just go back and look at that scene and then pay attention to when she, tells her to sit down and then when she's, opening the box. Cynthia makes this little face oh, why am I here? And I know it has nothing to do with Gregg, but I feel like that friendship has run its course and Cynthia doesn't know how to let NeNe know that it's run its course. But, yeah, something is brewing between them that you should be on the lookout for. Well, that's all all I have to
Well,
say,
thank
and
you
I'm
so
going
much,
back
Robert.
into absolutely.
As
So I'll talk to you
always.
soon. Bye.
All right, bye. Caller 8555, you are on the line.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Who am I speaking
This
with?
is Miss. This is Miss Jackie from the Ham.
Yes, Miss Jackie. How are you tonight?
I'm fine, and me and Robert did not set this up.
I know. It's like y'all always call at the same time. Dang. That is
But
funny.
what I wanted to say, I enjoyed Marriage and Medicine tonight way more than I enjoyed Atlanta Housewives,
Okay.
and that's sad to say.
But we're
But
not
because I
talking
want
about
both.
Married to Medicine because I didn't watch
I
it.
know we ain't talking about Marriage and Medicine, but I just want to let you know that I enjoyed it better than I did Atlanta Housewives, and also.
Read me, Miss Jackie.
Now, I ain't being mean, but now I do want to say one thing on NeNe's behalf. When she got on the blogs about possibly leaving Gregg and feel like all that, I'm telling you from experience, you do go through that
I
because
don't
it's
think
so
she
frustrating
necessarily
and it's
meant.
so hard.
I don't think she necessarily was gonna leave Greg. I thought she was basically stating how hard it is to be in a relationship with somebody
It is.
who's sick.
It
Period.
is. See, that's what I'm saying. I've been through that. So that's what I'm saying. I can relate to her because it is hard, it's frustrating, and it wears on you. You only human, you know, you only human.
Yeah.
And I understood what she was saying. She's not going anywhere, but sometimes it makes it so hard you don't know which way to go. You know, you just don't know. And they do go through parts of their treatment to where they are so mean and so, but they don't mean to be. And you have to step back and think about it, you know, things they may say or things they may do. And then men have a tendency to become like babies. They really do. They really become like babies. But I just wanted to say that I understood where NeNe was coming from. And a lot of people today, like I said, walk in shoes, you won't know. But now, as far as Cynthia and NeNe goes, I don't think that relationship is there the way it was. And I think that Cynthia wants to kind of like be like, I got my own identity. You can't tell me anything anymore. I'm running things like this instead of like a friendship. I think she looked at NeNe as a person who wants to run her, as a lot of people thought that, you know, they was doing early on in seasons before now. And I really do feel like that. And with Kandi, I was so glad. I know that guy was kind of out of place for trying to critique Candace's show, but I was just glad somebody had something to say to her about that. And as you can see, she didn't take that very well.
Yeah,
but now, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but his wife made the comment when they got in, isn't there something you need to say to Kandi?
Ooh.
Did you catch that?
No, I need to watch it again.
Yeah, you need to watch that back. She said, isn't there something you're supposed to say to Kandi?
Ooh.
And if you watch that, and I was like, what is this? And that's when he went in saying what he had to say, and I feel like that was all staged. And I feel like also that Kandi is befriending Porsha in a way to where, you know how a person want to make like they like you, but they want to see everything bad happen to you and be in the front row. And I feel like that's what Kandi is doing. Because she's sitting back with her friend, her little insurance agency, Karma, and her name, Carmen. And all of a sudden, this other friend come in, and she just got all the teeth with the tattoos and everything. I think this is more so Kandi want to sit there and chi-chi and ha-ha her face, but she want to see all the hurt and pain come to her as much as she can. That's just like she wasn't really hurt by that dungeon shit because that's what she do. She made coins off of it, so she can't be too damn hurt. But I really think, like I said, she don't like Porsha, and it's a jealousy thing, and she wants to hurt Porsha. And like Todd told her, she need to listen to him once, leave that alone. But Kandi, she ain't gonna leave alone, and as long as y'all see it, she gonna be pushing the shit for all she can get out of it.
I mean,
okay?
I feel like she got that's her job this season is to be that, and I feel like that's why she's politicking to get Kenya back because you know she's not comfortable doing it.
You know what? I think you're right about that. I really think you're right about that because Kandi is. If y'all watch Kandi is an evil little soul. But see, what she don't realize, she always talking about her bags and her purses. The Lord can take it away from her just like He give it to you. And Todd might be the one to take the shit from her ass.
Ooh.
But Marcel, now she did throw some shade. She did throw the shade. But you know what? I wish, when is they gonna bring Marlo in? How long do we have to wait? Because this shit is beginning to get sleepy.
Episode. Should be on the next episode.
The next episode, because we need somebody to kind of push what's her name, the model button. I think Marlo could do that very well and bring out the real her, and then they can start reading, because I got a feeling they want to read already. And NeNe, I don't know if NeNe played in Florida and her being there, but I don't think NeNe really feeling her either. For real. So, but that's all I wanted to say. And hey, Robert!
All right, Miss Jackie. Well, thank you so much, as always. I appreciate you.
All right, Jim.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, before I take the next caller, I just want to say, did y'all see the shade that Kandi threw today? Okay, when Porsha was on Watch What Happens Live, she made a point of saying that she and Kandi are not friends. And it's funny because earlier today, Kandi put her foot in her mouth because a Porsha fan page, there's a Porsha fan page called Porsha Williams. As you know, Porsha on Instagram or on Twitter is Porsha for real. So the Porsha fan page tweeted this out. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. As much as you run your mouth about me, Kandi, you should be running on a treadmill. I know I taste good, bitch. And, you know, she put that, and then Kandi responded and said, you so mad, Porsha Williams, don't check me, check your man. Meanwhile, I'm counting checks at the OLG. Apparently, Kandi didn't realize she was responding to a fan. Kandi was so quick to clap back because she knows she don't feel it for Porsha. She didn't realize she was responding to a fan page. Then she hurried up and deleted it. But of course, all the blogs already got it, and everybody running with it, and everybody saying Kandi, you know, reading Porsha, and it ain't even Porsha. Yeah, Kandi got trolled, and it's funny as hell. But I thought I wanted to bring that up. Let me take the next call. Call it 1332. You're on the line. I don't want to bring that up. Don't be scared. They hung up. Call
hey, Michelle.
8240. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Michelle? And don't let no one try to tell you about having makeup or not having makeup, because you look just the same and they're just jealous because they need makeup. But anyway,
thank you.
I wanted to ask you, first of all, did you see Miss Diane?
Turn your
she was really bringing it in her little cat suit.
Turn your computer or your whatever you're watching it on, turn it down because it's echoing a little bit. But you saying
okay, how's that?
Miss Diane, Porsha's mama.
Yes. I'm like, okay, come through, Mom.
You know, they said Miss Diane got a little nip tuck earlier this year, didn't she?
Okay, bring it for the seniors. But I just wanted to say, on the Miami trip with the hotel room with Marlo, I just really love the way Porsha stood up for herself and took her place back. Because usually Porsha will just sit back and let them make a mockery of her.
I think Marlo is different because Marlo ain't even a peach holder. You just a visitor.
I know.
You just a friend. Like, I'm not going to let you step over me. Now, if it was Kandi or NeNe or somebody else, it may have been a different outcome. But because it was Marlo, of course she going to snatch that room back.
And I was waiting for you to make the point where their Kandi them are really trying to get Kenya back on that show. I was waiting for you to make that point because I had saw through that smoke anyway.
I was about to make it before. Look, because NeNe was up on. You know, they read NeNe today on the Instagrams. Under her friendship post, and somebody was saying, wasn't Kenya wasn't even a good friend to Cynthia, and then NeNe was like, correct, and still isn't. It's all an alliance. So NeNe just called out Cynthia for having an alliance. And so now basically if you read more into it, that means Kandi is Kandi, Cynthia, and Kenya in an alliance. Think of it that way.
Yes.
It's like Survivor. Like everybody.
But I can never understand how Cynthia didn't see how Kenya played Marlo for NeNe's friendship, or vice versa when she eased up to whoever the second one she eased up to. Kenya got on my nerves, so I couldn't even
Kenya
put up with her
tried to
too much.
befriend Sheree. Kenya tried to befriend Marlo. Kenya was, I mean, you know, she needed somebody because Kenya never really had anybody on the show, because when she first came on the show, she was gunning for everybody. If you recall, she was gunning for Porsha. She was gunning for Phaedra. She was gunning for NeNe. You know, she had something to say to Cynthia. Remember the whole coochie crack thing when Cynthia invited her on so she basically ran through everybody. So now here we are. Now she trying, I guess, Kenya, you know, is not even on the show anymore. Every Sunday, she posting something about the baby, which, you know, everybody wants to see something about the baby. But girl, you ain't even getting paid. You ain't getting paid. You giving all these fans your storyline for free. But I guess she feels like she's, you know, targeting, you know, the housewives, like, you know, affecting their ratings or whatever the case may be. But from my perspective, I feel like she's promoting it. You know, like every Sunday we know Kenya's gonna post that's gonna remind us to watch the show.
That's why you are so good at what you do. Keep it up, and many blessings, and I just love you dearly.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for calling.
Okay, good night.
All right, good night. I know, and all y'all Team Twirl keep saying Kenya does not need a job. Kenya got her man. Kenya got her baby. If it wasn't that serious, then why would you be so calculated in doing the things that you do? Like, I mean, everybody keep talking about Kenya made good TV. Kenya did this. Kenya did that. If Kenya don't need it, why is she acting like she need it? Just answer that for me. Caller 7284, you're on the line.
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
I wish to know what anonymous, but I just wanted to call in and tell you you're beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love your channel.
Thank you.
And to comment on Cynthia and NeNe's relationship, and I think from a personal standpoint, I don't know them personally, but I think that people fail to realize how sneaky Cynthia has been throughout the years, and she gets away with it every time. So I think people, her and NeNe not vibing together. I don't think NeNe wanted her in her damn house, and she just was like, "Okay, I'll stay with you. Come over here with that old raggedy Range Rover, Land Rover, but it doesn't make it."
You know,
have a little sit down.
You're absolutely right, and you know that's one thing I could say in defense of NeNe. I know y'all think I kiss NeNe ass, but one thing I know is she real. Like if she feels some kind of way about somebody, she tell them. She don't do all this underhanded stuff that other people seem to be doing. You know what I mean? Like whether she get called out for being jealous or whatever, or hateful or spiteful, she stands in that. But then you got Cynthia doing underhanded stuff like getting Kandi to bring Kenya to, you know, her event, you know, because she couldn't do it because she ain't got the weight the pull that Kandi has. So it's just interesting to see all of that go down.
Right, and you know, I don't know if you saw this. They were on, I think, the talk for Eve's birthday. One of her as her birthday present, and NeNe told it right then. She was like, "Well, look, it was all a plan between them." And she was like, "No, NeNe, we already addressed it. It's not what you think." And NeNe rolled her eyes and looked the other way. So to me, it goes to show all the fakery that Cynthia does, and she gets away with like she's being controlled. Cynthia has very much so a mind of her own. She's just very sneaky and quiet about it.
You're right. You're right. Well,
but that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for taking my call.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Y'all know,
you are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, I'm about to hang up the conference call for now. Y'all know, the situation with, there's also a situation between Kandi and Marlo, because I don't know if y'all saw on the site, I also, when she did that interview with Jenny McCarthy, she was talking about Kenya for a second, but she also talked about this reality show that Marlo was on, Marlo and two other people, and you know, people were feeling like Kandi was throwing shade at Marlo because Kandi made a comment about how it was the talent that, you know, ruined the opportunity. They were ruining the schedules. They weren't doing things in a timely manner and this, that, and the third. I've spoke on this in the past for those of you who have, been with the site and follow the stuff that I say, because I don't never remember what video I said it in, but I said it. But Marlo actually didn't do the show because Marlo had a preference of being on the Housewives. They had been in a 2-year contract, and it took over 2 years for them to develop the show, to sell the show, to pitch the show. Bravo had first right of refusal. Bravo refused it. WeTV picked it up. By that time, it was like 2 years and 3 months or whatever. Marlo didn't want to re-sign the contract. Instead, she chose to go to the bigger platform, i.e. Bravo, i.e. a friend. Even though she doesn't have a piece, she has a bona fide contract now, and she's getting money. As a friend on the Housewives, Marlo is getting more money than she would have got as a main character on that little Penny Annie show with them Penny Annie people. Anyway, the people who were on the show, and I know as soon as I say who was on the show, y'all gonna be like, she throwing shade. It is what it is. The people who were on the show was Marlo, Rico Chappelle, and Funky Dineva. From my understanding, from my sources, it was Funky Dineva who wasn't showing up for work because I guess he didn't have a place to live and he was bouncing from place to place, and that is a very true fact. Rico Chappelle was living in LA. I guess he moved back to Atlanta for the show. Meanwhile, he let Funky Dineva live with him for a while. That didn't work. Whatever the case may be, they couldn't get the dude on the set to film, so they couldn't do what they were supposed to do. At the end of the day, you're right. Marlo dodged the bullet because I said to the producer who told me about it, that is really lowering her brand. Like, why would you do that? Like, you are a fashionista and going on with these two crackheads. Are you kidding me? I would never. Marlo, you had better sense than that. But the thing is, and if y'all want to do y'all research, y'all can pull the receipts on what was it, the Jenny McCarthy show. Kandi also said that you said it's tea. Kandi also said that Marlo only came to her because she couldn't get on the Housewives at the time. Just as we said earlier in this video, Marlo was trying to befriend Sheree, tried to befriend Kenya. Her and NeNe. NeNe said, I will never be Marlo's friend no more. At the time, Marlo didn't have an entryway into the show. So what did she do? She go and ask Kandi, can you develop a show for me? Can you help me? And that's what Kandi did. Kandi owed, I guess, Rico a favor for the wedding dress. Kandi had signed Funky Dineva, but had never got him a job, so she owed him a favor. And she got Marlo, so Marlo asked for a favor. So what does that make for a whole show filled with D-list D-list celebrities? They tried the show didn't work out. And look, and they trying to blame Marlo now because Marlo is the big name that was on it. It wasn't Marlo's fault. But that's my tea. That is my tea. And if you don't like it, don't sip. Don't sip. Are y'all still calling in? Hold on, let me see. You said, who's the crackhead? Child.
Please enter your PIN number.
You think Kandi brought Kenya to film because one, Kenya
Thank you. Joining the conference now. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are now muted.
Kenya was dry begging. Kandi ass didn't want to be wrong when she said Kenya could be a cast member at any time. Her ass was wrong. She was wrong. Kandi, from my understanding, was begging for Kenya to come back, was on her side. Well, she did the same thing that she did, if you recall, when Porsha, was in a situation before the whole lie thing happened. It was NeNe and Kandi who was basically calling up the Bravo to try to keep Porsha on the cast, and Phaedra at the time. And it worked. So when the situation happened with Kenya, Kandi, from what I heard, was on her side trying to get her job back or whatever. But the thing is, Kandi, Kenya had lied to everybody, had lied and told everybody that she got a pickup letter, had the whole cast, even Cynthia, even her best friend Cynthia, believed that she was coming back to the show when she wasn't coming back to the show. So while she online clowning Sheree, for being fired. She was fired too. And that's where the whole irony comes from. Because I'll sit there and go, damn, like, you was really committed to that lie. She was committed to telling Team Twirl, I'm coming back. I'm in negotiations. She was committed to telling other bloggers, I'm coming back. I'm in the negotiations. She was committed. But, you know, y'all be mad at me for telling the truth. I'm going to keep telling it. I'm going to keep telling it. You said what? They should bring Apollo fiance and Phaedra. Woo! I guess. I don't know if that would be fun. Because Apollo's fiance was kind of dry, wasn't she? We didn't really like her when she came on that 1 or 2 times. So, why was she fired, Charlie? If you read straight from the A.com, I have been following the story all summer long. Kenya was not transparent about her livelihood. She wasn't transparent about her life. She had already entered into a contract, and then she got married while she was under contract. That was in breach of the contract. Even though they kept her on the entire year, she wasn't transparent about her life. So why would they bring her back? Why would they give her $1 million and she didn't honor what she was supposed to be doing? Just a question. Team Twirl. Team Twirl want to answer my questions. NeNe too worried about Gregg to be fighting. That's true. She got her hands full. She got her hands full. Caller 1687, you are on the line.
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hi.
Yeah, I'm over the whole Kenya thing. I'm trying to bring her back. I mean, at this point, let it go. She's a snooze fest. Man, no shade.
I mean, they're pretty much done filming for this season. So everybody's making a big deal because I guess nobody believed that she wasn't going to be on the show since she was so committed to the lie that she was. And so now that they're seeing that she's really not on the show, I guess it's a big story. But I'm just like, whatever. Because the show, despite the ratings going down, is still one of the top 3 shows on Sunday night. So what does it matter?
Yes, they didn't need a new cast members, to be honest with you. They just brought back somebody who was a little more familiar, more,
And I think that's what think about it with Ronnie and Shamari. We might get some more people. We might get some Bobby Brown in there. We might, we never know what we may get. So I feel like they're doing things slowly and systematically. They're gearing towards a younger kind of audience. As you can see, they're kind of targeting Porsha more. So, we don't know what direction it's going in. Only thing we can do as fans.
You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. But I like the old flavor of finding not so known people to be for the show. And that was a little more flavorful for me.
I agree with that too.
Like with the first season. Like, can you go back to Get to the Unknown? Because now it becomes everybody's jumping on board for a check.
Well, we got another unknown coming. Tanya Sam she's a friend of the show. She's gonna be. We'll meet her next week. She'll be at that party where Eva and all of them. So she's an actual friend. So she'll have a big role, and she's married, and she has money, and she's a fashionista. From my understanding, she acts like a dumb blonde. She's really funny. So we'll see. We'll see how she fits in with the cast.
A dumb blonde.
I say dumb blonde. I know she's black, but I'm just
saying
she acts. Okay, let's just say she acts like the clueless girl. You know what I mean? Just like clueless.
I follow you. But that's a good look. I'm going to watch regardless because I am Team Porsha.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, Porsha don't keep me on the show. Of course, Queen NeNe, but it stops right there for me.
Yeah. I'm liking Porsha a little bit better this season. I really am. So I was never on Team Porsha, but I think she deserves an opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm always Team Porsha. Day 1 to day 9.
Well, thank you so much for calling. I certainly appreciate your input.
Thank you. You're doing good, Mark.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that'll be my final call for the evening. I appreciate those of you who took the time to call in. I appreciate those who chimed in the chat, even though I can barely see it. Liberty D, why you didn't call in? The only thing I keep seeing is answer me, but I haven't seen no question. So if you would have called in, perhaps I would have seen it. But since I didn't, please visit straight from the A.com to catch the written recap. I'm sure I'll put some more things as I think of it. And yeah, you said for the clip at the 20-minute mark on Watch What Happens Live, my dentist tattoo question. Okay, Black Mirror, thank you so much for that. I'm going to go look at it. Hilarious. Next time, y'all tell Andy Cohen to learn how to pronounce ATLien, not ATLien, ATLien. Also, get your ATLien mugs with the pronunciation at the bottom. Shameless plug on teespring.com. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I will holla at you later. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and visit the site. Good night.